song is before it's done being written. Because I don't think any song is ever really completely written, because even once you've recorded it, you're playing it live every night, and there's always room for something to change. But this is a song that I started out with, I guess it's been in the works for about a year now, and I started out just working on my computer, and I had this very simple loop. I think it maybe even just started out as one chord, but it turned into 3 chords, and it was just this kind of repetitive chord and vocal loop that doesn't sound a lot like this because there was no guitar on it, but you can just imagine cool synths and drums and bass instead of what I'm playing right now. All I had to start with was these 3 chords and this vocal melody. And, you know, usually when you start out with something, you don't even know if you wrote it entirely. It's like, did I steal that from somewhere? Did I listen to that? And then I think I wrote it 2 years later. I'm still not sure about that, but we'll let the lawyers deal with that. I'm going to assume that I originated this particular vocal line. And from there, I had to pull a song out of it, which is maybe the hardest part, I think, once you have a piece, to make a whole out of it. And so I just started thinking about, you know, the line that I had was just kind of riffing off of basic ideas, you know. I had to think about what's going to come out of that. How do I write a song that works with a chorus that simple without being just the stupidest song ever? And so I just let it sit. Usually, I just let a song sit for a while once I've got a few basic pieces and see if anything comes out of it. And actually the next thing that came out of it was that I got sick. We were about to leave on a tour, and the night before the tour I got very sick and was up all night with a fever. And I was thinking, we have to cancel the show, I'm not going to be able to play this. And then I got up in the morning, I'm still sick, and we did drive out and did the show, and I thought, okay. But I got these lines for it, these first intonations of a verse, which is just, schizophrenic dreaming, I got a deep bad feeling, with a taste like lemon, having trouble breathing. And so that's just, you know, the experience of being sick. And I started to maybe think that the song could be about that. You know, usually, especially lately, I've been trying to push myself to write in areas that I'm not comfortable with. So like, I have sort of a set comfort zone of writing, which is more poetic figures, more mental states, and less about the physical, visceral reality of things. And so I was interested, you know, what if I tried to write a song that was more what you're feeling in the moment, the colors and the shapes and the things that you're sensing. So, you know, I tried to start composing it around these feelings and what it actually felt like to be sick, to just have this boiling shit going on inside of you and not be able to do anything about it. And you know, when you have a sore throat, you're going to be trying to treat it with a lot of cough drops and lozenges and stuff like that. And so you end up associating this taste of lemon, you know, sort of supposed to be this taste of relief, this cool, refreshing thing that's in your mouth. And you associate that not with the refreshment, but with being sick, with not being able to get through to that relief, to feel just bad and not be able to do anything about it. So I wanted to sort of play off that contrast and use something simple that played with that taste. And then I sat on it some more, came up with the next couple sets of lines, just getting high on nothing, taking credit for nothing. Inside my head is an empty head, introducing friends to friends. And so by that point, I kind of worked out an aesthetic for the song where it's not going to tell a story so much as paint a picture. So there are different kind of ways to write, and one of those is more visually, you know, thinking about the images and the jumble of senses that you have. So I knew at that point I wanted this song to be more about that abstract sense, you know, cutting images up and working with them in the lyrics. So I just played off of that and wrote a few more things, and then it kind of came down to I had lyrics and I had music, but I had no structure. You know, I still just had these three basic chords. And I knew that I didn't want to go too complex with it. I wanted to keep it simple. But I knew that I had to have something a little extra in order to make it really feel like a song. And so I sort of, at this point I did what every artist does at some point in the writing process, which is I started stealing directly from other artists. So I was listening to this old 60s song. It's actually a Buddy Holly imitator, and he had this song that just started off with, hey, hey, hey. And I really like the power of just starting off with that. Hey, just out of nowhere, just you're hitting that high note, and it really kicks you into the song. So I said, let's just take that one note, and no one will ever know, well, except for all you people now, no one will ever know that I stuck this in there. And so I do one chord change in this song, and that's, and so then, let's see. Then I do the next two progressions, and it goes like this. There's a hole in the ceiling, everything but me, nothing's got me feeling. Smoke is pouring out the bed, I crawl like an animal. It's so tired of me, and I need you to help me play. You see, just having that one change and having that one vocal go up, it sort of, to me, seemed like the shortest possible way to sort of kick you into the next level of the song. So it's not just monotony throughout, it's building tension and it's building the structure of the song. And then from there you just go right back on to the chorus. Ooh, oh, my God, take you on me, take you on me. Just like that, I've got half of the song written. Woo! And then we get to the part that I still haven't written yet. I know that it needs to break down and go back to a quieter spot. one thing I've been listening to a lot more recently is hip-hop and pop music, just to see what other people are doing who are not playing guitar. I've been playing the guitar since 8th grade, which I think put me at 13 years old, and I'm about 27 now. So you kind of get tired, not tired of an instrument, but you stop thinking about it when you're playing it, and it just kind of comes automatically to you. And so you want to kind of get out of that headset, and the best way to do that is to listen to music that is outside of your wheelhouse, that you really don't know what's going on in there, and try to figure out how they're doing what they're doing in there. And one thing that really interests me about pop music right now is that it's very minimal, and it's minimal in structure and it's minimal in sound. So you're going to get drums, you're going to get bass, and you're going to get vocal, and maybe you'll get a little bit of keyboards or guitar, but for the most part, that's it, drums, bass, vocal. And that's hard to write a song like that and just have those elements be in place and make it compelling. And these pop artists are doing that, and they're also just repeating that same basic structure. Sometimes it's just one chord. And so I wanted to kind of get into that idea and see if I could do something like that. So again, this is not quite coming through because I am just playing guitar here, but in the actual song, it is a lot more heavy on the bass and drums. And maybe we'll get into that if we have time. I think we're going to try to play some of these songs together. But yeah, I mean, one of these things that I was interested in is the vocal play of rap and hip-hop and pop music, which is basically where all the focus lies on these songs, because everything else is just simple and repeating. And it's all focused on the lyrics and the way the vocal is delivered. And so it's very interesting because it ends up just feeling like someone is talking to you. It's a very direct form of communication. And so I'm kind of bad at that. I'm a musician, and musicians never communicate anything directly. That's why we write music, is because that form of communication is what we have to do that. So I've been working on just writing more direct stuff, but I haven't found quite the right direct phrases to put in this next part, which is going to be more of a hip-hop thing, like but I got nothing. I mean, I can't just go do-do-do-do-do in the final song. So at some point I'm going to write actual words there. But I do have something that's coming out of that. And that is when we go back to the chord change and we go, hey, we're not supposed to be here. Hey, we're not supposed to be here. My love is really what I'm calling me. What's it down again? Never really let someone else to say. I'm tipping straight my hands. I can't hold it through. Thank you.